And this is a crucial visit because this is happening at a time that India is dealing with a belligerent neighbor in China and also a nuclear power neighbor in Pakistan. The significance of this visit has to be reiterated, Ambassador Sajanhar, when we talk about the fact that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the first Indian Prime Minister to visit Hiroshima after the Pokhran test of 1974. And India wanting to send a message, particularly with that unveiling of Gandhi, who is the biggest apostle of peace, that India is for peace, that the world's largest democracy, the biggest democracy, is sending a message that in these times particularly, Gandhi has an answer to all the challenges that the world faces.
Absolutely. I think India definitely does send out a message that Gandhi continues to be relevant. It really depends upon us, people in the world today, that we have the strength, the sagacity, and the courage to follow his path of non-violence. And you said very rightly, this is very symbolic that this meeting takes place in Hiroshima, which was the scene of the nuclear bomb attack in 1945. And Hiroshima is also the home country or home city of Prime Minister Kishida. So I think it is doubly symbolic as far as he is concerned. And it is also important that the meeting is taking place here because we have unfortunately seen a great deal of focus and nuclear muscle flexing in recent months and years. Whether we are talking about the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and it is not once but several times that we have heard the Russian leadership, starting from President Putin to Sergei Lavrov to Sergei Shoigu, the defense minister. They speak about, the fact that they possess nuclear weapons, and if there is an existential threat to Russia, then they will not hesitate in using. So I think this irresponsible talk about the use of nuclear weapons, while the whole world knows what catastrophe that they can bring, I think it is to focus on that particular aspect. Also, we have seen from North Korea, which is close to Japan, and we have the South Korean president also in attendance. So, the missile tests and the nuclear tests that North Korea has been engaging in for the last few years. So that also becomes very important. I think thirdly, China has been changing its nuclear stance. It's not only in terms of numbers, but also in terms of the policy, its nuclear policy. There have been, it is not confirmed, but there have been certain discussions that China might be re-looking at it. So I think all these aspects are there. So it is very pertinent that the meeting takes place here, and also in conjunction, we have the unveiling of the bust of Mahatma Gandhi, who spoke the language of peace, not of conflict or of war. And that is that is the message that Prime Minister Modi is giving while unveiling this the bust of Mahatma Gandhi.
Yes, Ambassador Sajanhar, and we can see some, monitoring choppers are also moving up in the air in Hiroshima. This is a very crucial G7 summit which is taking place. Yesterday, there was a session which took place specifically on Ukraine. The subject matter on the agenda was Ukraine, in which all the G7 nations, in fact, made their commitment, reiterated their commitment for ensuring greater support for Ukraine in terms of other military aid, if the need be, or the sanctions that we are seeing against Russia. So the big challenge is that will, Prime Minister Kishida, who represents Hiroshima, whether he will be able to send a message that he is hoping for, that this city, which was devastated during the World War II, today is hosting a very crucial summit 78 years later, where all the world leaders have descended, a number of them who may not have been part of G7 have been invited for the outreach session. And India, Australia, Brazil are among the 8 countries that have been invited. And that is the reason why Prime Minister Narendra Modi is here. He's done with one bilateral. There are several bilaterals on the card. Abhishek Jha, who tracks Ministry of External Affairs, also continues to be with me. Good morning, Abhishek. Early morning in India, but it has been a hectic day already for the Prime Minister. But the big optics is, in terms of symbolism, is done. Do you think the second big would be certainly that meeting with President Zelensky?
Of course, and we know that President Zelensky is trying to shore up his political support, his financial support, and of course the military hardware support that he's been getting from European Union and the NATO allies. He was just yesterday in Jeddah, where Arab League summit was happening, and despite various leaders not very happy with the presence of Ukrainian president, he still attended the conference, and he kind of tried to put his point across while saying that how he's trying to defend his own sovereignty, and how in this hour of crisis he needs a lot of support from people or the countries like European Arab League as well. Now, initially it was believed that Zelensky might be attending the G7 event online in virtual mode. But just yesterday, the news came that he has been invited to attend the event in person. This will give Volodymyr Zelensky not only to attend and put his point across to various leaders or at this platform, but also he will have an opportunity to meet various global leaders in person after a long gap. We know almost entire G7 nation, almost every leader has traveled to Ukraine in the past several months, including Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. But it will also be an opportunity where Volodymyr Zelensky can engage with Prime Minister Modi in person or Brazilian counterpart or other leaders who have traveled there as dialogue partner or observer member. So clearly, a time. If you talk about Ukraine's perspective, then it's a huge opportunity for Volodymyr Zelensky to shore up support in terms of attending this G7 meeting and engaging with world leaders.